Of course, that headline perfectly captures the magic of a classic talent show moment. Here's a story that brings it to life. The air in the colossal arena was thick with a practiced, almost jaded, anticipation. It was another day of auditions for A Star is Born, and the judges had seen it all: the over-the-top divas, the quirky novelty acts, the dancers with more enthusiasm than rhythm. Simon, the head judge known for his brutal honesty, stifled a yawn. "Please, let the next one be at least memorable," he muttered. The stage manager's voice crackled in their earpieces. "Next up, Leo, 12 years old." A small, slight figure walked onto the vast, empty stage. He looked dwarfed by the lights and the thousands of empty seats. He was dressed in a simple, worn-out t-shirt and jeans that were a little too short. His sneakers were scuffed. He clutched the microphone as if it were a lifeline, his knuckles white. "Hello, Leo," said Maria, the kinder judge, with an encouraging smile. "And what are you going to sing for us today?" Leo swallowed, his Adam's apple bobbing nervously. I'm going to sing You Raise Me Up," he whispered, his voice barely audible. The judges exchanged a subtle, knowing glance. Another kid, another over-ambitious ballad. It was a recipe for a painful, pitchy disaster. "All right, Leo," Simon said, his tone flat. "The stage is yours." The first few notes of the familiar, soaring melody began. Leo closed his eyes, blocking out the judging panel, the cameras, the immense pressure. For a moment, there was only silence. The audience held its breath. Was he too scared to start? Then, he opened his mouth. And a voice, not of a timid boy, but of an angel, filled the arena. It was a voice of breathtaking purity and power, a rich, soulful tenor that seemed impossible to come from such a small frame. The notes were flawless, but it was the emotion that was utterly devastating. He poured a lifetime of what the judges could only imagine: struggle, hope, loneliness, and an immense, unwavering gratitude, into every word. "When I am down and, oh my soul, so weary. When troubles come, and my heart burden be." Maria's hand flew to her mouth, her eyes instantly glistening. The cynical Simon sat frozen, his pen hovering over his notepad, his jaw slack with disbelief. The third judge, David, simply shook his head slowly, a tear tracing a path down his cheek. The camera zoomed in on Leo. He was no longer a poor, nervous boy on a stage. He was in his own world, giving a performance of raw, unvarnished truth. As the song built to its crescendo, his voice swelled, filling every corner of the arena with a power that was both majestic and deeply humble. "You raise me up, to more than I can be." When the final note hung in the air, clear and perfect, before fading into a stunned silence, it was over. For a full 3 seconds, no one moved. Then, the arena erupted. The judges were on their feet, applauding, their faces masks of shock and awe. Maria was openly weeping, dabbing her eyes with a tissue. Simon, the man who had built a career on criticism, was speechless. "Good heavens," David finally managed, his voice cracking. "Young man, I have no words." Simon leaned into his microphone, composing himself. "Leo," he began, his voice uncharacteristically soft and filled with emotion. "I have been doing this for 20 years. I have heard the biggest stars in the world. I came here today expecting nothing. And you have just delivered one of the most moving, perfect performances I have ever witnessed. That wasn't just singing. That was your soul." Leo, looking small and vulnerable again, simply smiled a shy, grateful smile. Maria, through her tears, looked at her fellow judges, then back at Leo. "There's only one thing left to do for a performance like that." She stood, reached over, and slammed her hand down on the golden buzzer. A cascade of golden confetti exploded from the ceiling, showering the stunned boy. The arena's anthem boomed, and the crowd roared its approval. Leo stood center stage, silhouetted against the glittering gold, the poor boy whose voice had not just filled an arena, but had shattered cynicism and touched the hearts of millions in a single, unforgettable moment. Fearful face loudly crying,